First thing people ask me when they see me, they just go, "You play basketball, right? You must play basketball." And I always let them down. I'm like, "I don't play basketball." They tell me I'm a waste of space or whatever. But back in the day, I used to play football. And I was all right. I was a pretty good footballer. Am I allowed to say that? I was hoping to make it my occupation at one point. That was the dream. So I was going through the sort of elite underage programs with the dream of one day playing AFL. So we're talking Australian rules. I remember, I guess distinctly, one pre-season where I thought it would be a good idea to increase my training load a lot. So increasing my running, increasing my lifting, put on a lot of weight, a lot of muscle mass. My load spiked. I started presenting with a lot of hip and groin soreness. This is where it gets a bit detailed and yucky. So it was about a 4 or 5 year period there where I ended up going through, I think I had 5 or 6 surgical procedures, hip surgery, lots of groin surgery, lots of injections, lots of pills, lots of management, lots of treatment, lots of physios, lots of strength training, all the sort of things that most people have tried when they present with any chronic pain condition. Medications make you feel horrible. They make you feel like crap. Surgery hurts. Still don't come out with any answers. So I'm in this sort of spiral of persistent pain. By the end of it, at its worst, I presented with sort of marked allodynia, essentially meaning stimuli that shouldn't hurt at all, like just brushing an arm was painful. So this was around my hips, groins, pelvis. So if that sort of touch or light stimulation is hurting, kind of resulted in me not wearing underwear for a few years, which is a bit of a weird thing to tell you guys. So in short, I was in a really horrible way at one point in my life. And on top of that, I'm not even sure the pain itself is the big kicker. It's what it does to your life in terms of how it makes you sort of withdraw from everything you love and you enjoy, your friends, your family, your sport, all those sort of things that make you, I guess, wake up in the morning. I was lucky enough through a friend of my sister's to be introduced to a book I'm sure a lot of you have heard of called Explain Pain. So I read it. I read it again. I think I've read it 4 times now. So I should know it off by heart. And that was really the start of coming out of the other side of my persistent pain journey. It started for me, I know everyone else's journeys start and finish at different places. So my story might not necessarily apply to other individuals. The hope is that you can take away things from my experience and my story, try and apply them to yours, maybe in different ways, and that will help you out a bit. That first time I read the book, it all started to make sense. That this was the first time I really heard the ideas that maybe pain wasn't so strongly correlated with tissue damage. So it's like a little thought virus there. So the next time you experience pain whilst maybe trying to have a kick at the football or going for a run or in the gym, you go, my tissue's really damaged, or is there something more going on here? This hurts a bit, but what would happen if I slowly continue to progress the loads that I'm doing, even if it hurts a bit? Might wake up the next morning, pull up a bit sore, still hurts a bit. But if I can convince myself that pain and tissue damage are poorly correlated, maybe there's a way for me to find my way out of this persistent pain experience. The other one for me, it allowed me to reintroduce to those other things I talked about that I withdrew from in my life, my friends, my family, anything social. At the time, I was still looking to be an elite athlete, so naturally, if you're in pain and you want to get back to playing football, my life revolved around sort of eat, sleep, rehab, repeat. That was it. Day in, day out. Nothing fun, just those 4 things. Doesn't work too well for people. People like socializing. People like having fun. People like interacting with their friends and family. They like to experience new things. So I slowly, gradually increased the amount of exposure to some of those other things in my life again, which is fantastic. Hardest thing for me, going back to watch local football, watch friends play football, because for so long there, every time I went to a game of local football, didn't actually get to watch the game, because I would have a line of people sort of wanting to talk to me about when I'd be back playing football. I didn't have an answer to that question. So I think being able to separate my goals and aspirations of returning to that allowed me to enjoy watching the sport again, which is good. On top of that, if you can really have that conceptual shift that there is more to pain than tissue damage, opens up a range of treatment options. If I'm a 20-year-old kid and I think the reason I'm in such debilitating pain is because the tissues in my hip, on my groin, my low back are damaged, as all my scans showed, as all the surgeons told me, as all the physicians told me, then why would I think that maybe a psychologist could be of assistance to me at that time? You wouldn't think that. You'd just think that if I fix my tissues, my pain will go away and then I'll be happy again. Doesn't work like that. So I started working. I was able to put a really good team around me, some really great physiotherapists, great psychologists, friends and family, exposure to exercise again. I'd started this sort of transition into cycling as well, which was really good for me in that it exposed me to a different group of friends, a different population that I'd never interacted with or met before. It's a slow journey into, I guess, the bottom, right at the bottom. It's 4 or 5, 6 years. Out the other side, it can be another 4, 5, 6 years longer. Takes time, slow increments, slow steps. But I think if you can find yourself in that position, there's no reason why you can't improve from that position and make gains from that position. No reason whatsoever. To summarise the things that sort of helped me the most, understanding of pain. Obviously now I'm a physiotherapist, so naturally I was inclined to want to learn more and more and more as much as I possibly could. I understand that that's not for everyone in the general population. So it can just be understanding those basics. If you can understand the basics, you can start to form a really great rehab program and put together a fantastic team of clinicians or pain coaches that can help you along your journey. Don't have to be exercise physiologists, don't have to be physios, don't have to be sports physicians. They can be friends, they can be family. they can be psychologists, they can be anyone who has a good, I guess, conceptual, contemporary understanding of pain. And I'm pretty, I understand that I'm incredibly blessed and lucky to stand here without any pain. So that's pretty cool. In that I know it's n equals 1 example, but more data does exist that this is possible.